Today, we are diving deep into the 2025 Anambra State Governorship Election. Now, at first glance, it might look like your standard election, right? But if you dig a little deeper, you find this really fascinating story. A battle between cutting-edge election tech and those age-old challenges of voter apathy and corruption.
So, what are we really asking here? It kind of boils down to this. How did Anambra's democracy actually do when the heat was on? We're not just looking at who won. No, we're putting the whole process on trial, from the high-tech voting machines to the mood on the streets, to see what it tells us about the health of elections in the state.
Okay, so first things first, who were the main players in this race? You had the incumbent, Governor Charles Soludo of APGA, trying to hold on to his seat, and he was up against some pretty serious challengers. Nicholas Ukachukwu from the APC and George Moghalu from the Labour Party, which has been gaining a lot of ground. So this wasn't just a simple three-way race. It was a real clash of some major political forces.
And you've got to understand, the stakes here were huge. This election was seen as a major test for the whole country. Could the new biometric technology actually prevent fraud? Could we get transparent results without anyone messing with them? Really, could the system deliver a result that people would trust? I mean, that's the big one, right? Those were the questions on everyone's mind.
All right, let's zoom right in on the day itself, November 8th. Beyond all the political talk, what did it actually feel like for the thousands of voters on the ground? Let's walk through how the day played out. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Check out the sheer speed of the technology here. In the morning, polls opened using the BVAS, that's the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System. You know, fingerprints and facial recognition to prove you are who you say you are. But look what happens next. By the afternoon, boom, over 90% of polling unit results are already uploaded to the iRev public viewing portal. By evening, it was 96%. I mean, that is a massive, massive leap forward for seeing things happen in real time.
So, how do we grade this thing? Well, it's not a simple pass or fail. It's really a classic story of highs and lows. It felt like for every impressive step forward, there was a familiar, stubborn old problem creeping back in. So let's break down this very mixed but very revealing picture.
Okay, let's kick things off with the good stuff, the high points on our scorecard, because there was some genuinely impressive stuff happening. You know, if you just look at the mechanics, how the day was organized, it went surprisingly smoothly in most areas, and a lot of observers took notice.
And you can really see that progress right here. Observers were talking about how calm it was for the most part, materials actually showed up on time in a lot of places, and polling units opened when they were supposed to. You had security there to keep order, and this is the big one, those BVAS machines, the heart of the whole thing, they worked just fine in most places. This was the state's election machinery really showing some improvement.
But, and there's always a but, isn't there? For all that good logistical work, there were some pretty serious cracks showing in the system. The low points on our scorecard, well, these are the kinds of problems that are much, much tougher to fix than just better organization.
Just take a look at this number. It tells a huge story. In one polling unit in Inouye North, you have 463 people registered to vote. Guess how many actually showed up? 86. Just 86. That's not even 20%. And this wasn't some weird one-off thing. It's a snapshot of a massive voter engagement problem, and it really makes you wonder, how much trust is there in the whole system?
And that problem of low turnout was made even worse by the shadow of old habits that just won't go away. As you can see from reports from monitors on the ground, allegations of vote buying and of agents being intimidated were still around. It's just a sobering reminder that shiny new tech is great, but it can't, by itself, fix the deeper, human challenges to an election's integrity.
So, at the end of this very mixed bag of a day, what was the outcome? Well, as those results were tallied and uploaded with that impressive speed, a pretty clear trend started to take shape, and fast. The incumbent, Charles Soludo, was on track for a decisive victory, showing that his APGA party's hold on the state was still really firm. So we've seen the scorecard for Election Day, but what happens now? Let's look beyond just the vote count to the lasting implications this election is going to have for governance, politics, and trust in NMR.
There are really three big things to keep an eye on now. First, governance consistency. With the incumbent winning, business and investment folks will likely see a reassuring sense of continuity. Second, the mandate question. I mean, how strong is a victory, really, when so few people actually participate? And third, the ongoing need for reform. All those allegations of misconduct just prove that building trust is a job that is never truly finished.
And so, we're left with this really interesting paradox, aren't we? The technology of democracy is getting better, faster, more transparent, But what does it all matter if the people it's meant to serve are tuning out? And that is the crucial puzzle that the Anambra election leaves all of us to solve.